Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn series presentation on the University of Florida's sustainability efforts. My name is CJ Davila, and I'm the Executive Director of the Florida Green Building Coalition. A little bit about the Florida Green Building Coalition. We are a third-party green building certification program designed to move Florida forward. We are the only program that uses Florida-specific criteria to judge the certifications. We also are the largest certifying entity of green buildings within the state of Florida. We are a nonprofit. We have over 300 members, and if you're interested in becoming a member, you can visit our website. To date, we have 33,000 projects, over 33,000 projects certified within the state of Florida. As I mentioned, we are state-specific criteria, the hot, humid climate, disaster mitigation, all of the things that make Florida unique. Our programs are flexible. They work on a scoring program, so you can get points in lots of different areas. And we pride ourselves in the fact that we have lots of points and offer lots of flexibility. As I mentioned, we are a nonprofit, and we have been in business for 23 years. Today's Lunch and Learn series will be recorded, and the webinar will be posted to our YouTube channel as well as our website. Our website is floridagreenbuilding.org, and our YouTube channel is, if you just go to YouTube and search for Florida Green Building Coalition, you'll come up with all of our Lunch and Learn series, as well as many other videos that we post on there regarding sustainability efforts within the state of Florida. For today's presentation, we're very, very excited to talk about the University of Florida and some of their projects that they've been putting forward towards their goal of sustainability. They are a tremendous partner, and the projects that they've done with us have mostly been platinum and have all been really great. Today's speaker is Dustin Stephany. Dustin graduated with a double major in architectural engineering and construction management from the Milwaukee School of Engineering. In 2010, he went to Rinker Hall to obtain a master's degree in construction management with a sustainability focus. He has a wide range of experience in engineering, construction management, as well as building operations and maintenance for a multitude of building types, including corporate office, headquarters, hospitals, military detention facilities, luxury residential homes, sports facilities, and university buildings. In 2015, he transferred from Facilities Services Energy Department to Planning, Design, and Construction, where he currently guides building professionals in the development and execution of sustainable projects here on campus. University of Florida prides itself on having more green building certifications than any other public higher education institution. As UF strives to become a top 5 university, Dustin provides leadership in implementing sustainability strategies and occupant wellness principles that optimize building performance while greatly enhancing the experience for students, faculty, staff, and Gator Nation visitors. So with that, I'd like to introduce Dustin.
Thank you, CJ. See here if I can share my screen. CJ, it looks like maybe you'll have to, stop sharing your screen so I can do that. Okay, let's do this. Okay, do you see the main screen here?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. My name again is Dustin Stephany here with the University of Florida, Sustainable Building Coordinator, and I work in what's called Planning, Design, and Construction. Currently, we are at about $1.2 billion worth of construction projects right now. So here at the university, we are got a lot of projects going on, so I'm happy to share with you what's happening with sustainable buildings. So just a quick overview. I'm going to give a history of UF Green Building certifications here at UF, our expectations when going through green building certification, and how Florida Green Building Coalition fits with our overall green building goals. We'll talk about some FGBC projects and what we're doing moving forward. So starting off, University of Florida started back in early 2000s. We certified our first green building, which happens to be UF's first LEED Gold and the state's first LEED Gold project. It was actually certified in 2004. And then quickly after that, we ramped up our efforts and continued with green building certification. We got the state's first platinum certification in 2009. And since then, we had a few more green building certifications that were platinum, including the UF Research and Academic Center at Lake Nona. We have the Institute of Aging, Clinical Translational Research Building, that was in 2013. And then in Corey Village, we had 8 platinum certifications all at one time in 2017. We've evolved our green building policy, where it started in the beginning of 2000, essentially where we started implementing energy efficiency standards within our university standards. And then we've modified those standards to start meeting LEED requirements in 2001. We were successful in implementing green buildings, and so we became more aggressive with having minimum certification levels. And so in 2006, we had LEED Silver, and in 2009, all projects were to meet LEED Gold standards. And then we expanded beyond LEED and then changed our policy to include LEED Gold equivalent. So in this case, it would be FGBC Gold certification. And in 2016, yeah, we hired the UF's first sustainable building coordinator. So right when that position became available was right when LEED version 4 was out. And shortly after that, LEED no longer allowed projects to register under version 3. And that created a lot of, I guess, resistance in the built environment in the industry, because these LEED version 4 requirements were much more rigorous and required much more time and energy to meet the requirements. And so meeting the LEED Gold certification level was very difficult for the university. And so that was the time that we decided to expand outside of LEED and start looking at alternatives certification programs to gain new perspectives on how to design and build green buildings here on campus. Just showing there, the last bullet is just talking about the LEED regional priority credits for those that are familiar with the certification program. Here with on the University of Florida campus, we would normally get our additional points by having an energy efficient building, by providing daylight and views for building occupants, allowing for more open space, using our reclaimed water for irrigation and public transportation. And when LEED version 4 came out, some of those requirements were much more difficult, specifically like public transportation. LEED wanted not only ridership during the week, but they wanted the university to prove that we had ridership for both Saturday and Sundays, which was difficult because we were trying to maximize getting students to campus while it was in operation and getting them back to their homes safely at the end of the day. The circle graph up on top is UF's overall certified buildings. You can see the majority is LEED, followed by FGBC. FGBC is about 6% of our overall certified projects. And over the 20 years of green building certification, about 20% of our building inventory has been certified. LEED, just like any other green building certification program, isn't a performance tool. It's more a design and construction tool to make sure that we implement the infrastructure for an energy efficient and healthy indoor environment. So our expectations with going through green building certification, first of all, it has to be human-centric. We are here to serve our students, our faculty, our staff, and our visitors. So we want to make sure that we optimize the education experience. We provide natural daylight to spaces. We provide views. We make sure that the indoor air quality meets various indoor air quality standards. And so we test before occupancy. We want to make sure that we have a structured and holistic approach, beyond code minimum. Most people don't think about it, but building that's designed to code is actually the lowest legal standard. And so we want to go beyond that and create the best possible indoor environmental space, considering that we spend 90% of our lives indoors. So we want to have a program that can communicate opportunities to implement sustainability throughout the project's entirety, from schematic phase to design development to construction drawings, and then during the construction process as well as post-occupancy. With green buildings, we differentiate between best cost and best value. Sometimes we'll spend a little bit more upfront, but with buildings that are designed, plus 50 years, we obtain that additional cost back over the life of the building. And a good example of that is in our utility costs, both in energy, in water, natural gas. These are all utility costs that are significantly reduced by having a green building. Green buildings also encourage us to select sustainable materials, whether they're local, they're incorporate recycled content, durable, they're transparent in the materials that they use. And we also want a building that's functional and easy to maintain. So how does FGBC fit with UF green building goals? Well, first off, as mentioned earlier by CJ, is that the FGBC is designed for the Florida climate. The hotter hots, the wetter wets, the drier dries. We have a number of subject matter experts within the state that are all working together and have been committed for many, many years. 2000, I believe, is when FGBC started. And so 23 years, this certification program has expanded and gotten more specific to the Florida climate. We also deal with real people to address questions that we have. Normally with a program like LEAD, we'd have to send out an email and we don't know when we'd get a response, or pay money, $250 for a credit interpretation ruling, or even during that certification process, when we'd have to appeal a credit, we're spending somewhere around $600 to $900 per credit. So being able to call somebody up, ask a specific question, and it's really helpful knowing the people, whether I'm calling Mary at the front or CJ or Jennifer or Deirdre. All these people have been very helpful with the university in developing sustainable buildings. They understand that with green buildings, there are trade-offs, and they work on our benefits just to make sure that we develop the most sustainable project. They're cost effective. I'll explain that later. There's less rigor, meaning that, we're not filling out LEAD online forms. We can submit documentation that the project team sees fit. And again, we get timely responses. So with that, I'm going to be going into some of the projects that University of Florida has implemented when it comes to FGBC projects. And starting off was our first project out at Whitney Cottages. So FGBC, the way I understand it, is that they certify more residential homes than any other type of building. And so that's what you see here on the screen. These are cottages for Whitney Labs. This is out in Marineland. We wanted to create a space for students as they are learning about marine aquatic life. And so what I want to explain here is that the features that I'm going to be talking about here are outside of what we normally see through other green building certifications. These were specific initiatives that we discovered by going through FGBC. So first thing is encouraging covered entrances. This is obviously a great opportunity for us to keep contaminants and whatnot outside of the building, improving the overall indoor air quality of the space and keeping it clean, reducing heat gain through just selecting a certain building color on the outside has a huge opportunity for reducing building energy. Also with these buildings, you'll see that they're elevated some by over actually 2 feet above the floodplain. That was an initiative to gain some points and also to build some more resiliency, considering that we're on the coast there. And another initiative was the solar study, which the project wasn't able to afford putting solar on during the certification process. But because we did the work up front and knew what type of financials we could gain by installing solar, we then was able to install it later on after the project was complete. And the one piece that I want to add here is that we did green building certification here for just one building, and all these buildings were designed and constructed by the same team here, Marquis Lattimore and Halbeck, as well as DE Scorpio. Here's some additional photos of these buildings. Really cool innovation that we explored also through the FGBC's program was an HVAC coil coating technology that has a covalent bond on the condenser coil designed to reduce corrosion from the saltwater air. It was great that we were able to explore that technology. You can also see the appliances in this building are all WaterSense certified. We have Energy Star, lights and equipment, and beautiful views to the outdoors and natural landscaping. Yeah, this is just a photo of the project when it was complete. This was our first FGBC project, certified gold. And then we moved on campus here. This is the Katie's Seashore Presley Softball Stadium. You can see the before and after photos there at the lower left-hand corner. Some initiatives that we took through FGBC was the 3D conflict studying. This is more or less using the Revit models and taking the architectural drawings and comparing it with the HVAC drawings and structural drawings and fire protection drawings, just to make sure that we identify any areas where systems are interacting with each other. By doing this up front, we save a lot of money making these adjustments in the building design before we start construction. Also, being that this is a softball stadium and we're encouraging people to come and watch Gator softball, we were able to capitalize on some accessibility opportunities here by widening our sidewalks. Also, this, based off of where this project is sitting, it's next to many different roads here on campus that also have bike lanes, and speed limit is about 20 miles an hour. But also what's really exciting is the bicycle network through the trails that were also accounted for in the certification program. There are aspects of this structure here that are designed for deconstruction, and with the softballs, it was a priority to have our facade be durable materials and finishes, making it easy to maintain. Yeah, and one thing I want to mention here too in this image is that you actually see multiple buildings here. Right here is the main entrance, whereas over here is where the head coach and the staff that's where their offices are. If we were to go through LEED, we'd actually have to register this project twice, one for each building. And by going through FGBC, being that it's all under one address, we were able to just certify the whole stadium. So that was a huge benefit to the University of Florida and our overall sustainability efforts. And this project is the Honeybee Research and Extension Laboratory. This is through IFAS. And IFAS has worked with PD&C a number of years on a number of projects. And they've had issues in the past with some of the HVAC designs. Sometimes when it comes to energy efficiency, the MEP engineers may over-engineer some of these systems, making it difficult to maintain and meet temperature set points. So they wanted to standardize their HVAC design, mainly with VAV with reheat. And with that, we were able to, recommend FGBC, in which they agreed to do, and some areas that we benefited from specifically was the integrated pest management for this space. Obviously, bee units, we're dealing with vanishing bee populations all across the United States. This building is designed to learn more about the causes of that. And so we wanted to make sure that our integrated pest management plan wasn't one of those. So we were able to develop a custom program for that, as well as implement physical barriers for termites and other pests. We have a space in the back, about 250 square feet for the employees. And when you look from bird's eye view, you can see that we're right next to our orange grove. So the construction area was rather tight. So there was an incentive through FGBC to utilize tight construction here for minimal site disturbance. And then I'll just share with you some of the green building education signage that we used in this space. That was really cool. This image in the back there, we developed the educational signage to show the commonalities between bees and green buildings, and working with their marketing team was a lot of fun, and we very much enjoyed that. This building is dedicated for educating citizens about bees, and I felt like the signage was excellent in showing that. Here's some more images that I wanted to share. Obviously, we have a lot of pollinator plants, Florida-friendly landscaping. And then up here in the upper right-hand corner, all these slots right here are entryways for the bees to enter. And you can kind of see the inside of that space in the lower left-hand corner. And each one of those areas would have a spot for a beehive to be observed, like seen in the previous photo. And you can see that we're using red lights, because the bees aren't affected by that. And yeah, it was a wonderful experience working with our clients here, working with FGBC. This is UF's first platinum project with FGBC, as well as FGBC's first platinum project after 18 years of being an organization. So we were really proud of this building and use this as a standard for ourselves as we continue to develop green buildings here on campus. Another project here is the Special Collections building. This houses about 4 million specimens and about 60,000 gallons of isopropyl alcohol. Mainly includes invertebrate mammals, herpetology, and ornithology. This is adjacent to a natural area teaching laboratory. And so we took that into consideration and wanted to make sure that this building worked well with the existing landscape. Part of that is we incorporated what's called bird-friendly glazing. This is adding a fritted pattern on our windows that essentially break up the birds' sight of vision when they see the reflection when they're flying around the building or going from tree to tree. They don't crash into our building. So that was a great add to this project. This is mainly a large warehouse, essentially. So our lighting power density, we were able to capitalize significantly on this between the natural day lighting and our occupancy-based lighting controls. Another thing that was an eye-opener for us was the prerequisite for installing an irrigation system that's operating correctly. I got to work with some of the Florida WaterStar folks, and they came here on site and actually walked through, looked at both the interior of the building as well as exterior, and we noticed that our irrigation system was left on like full irrigation, and normally contractors do that to try to help establish the existing vegetation. And then what ended up happening was that was left like that even as we got closer to occupancy. So I don't think we would have found that until a few billing cycles later, but really appreciates having that requirement in the standards. There's also a credit for littoral vegetation. This is a great way for us to do stormwater management. And it's beautiful. It's a really exciting space here, and hopefully you can check it out at some time. It's just to the south of the Florida Museum of Natural History, which I'll discuss here in a second. And then the last thing, innovation point that we implemented here was what's called the blower door test. We're essentially trying to see how tight the building has been constructed. The code is 0.4 CFM per square foot for a building. And we had a very aggressive goal of 0.15 CFM per square foot. And we've done some analysis to see that by having a tighter building, we're also able to reduce our overall energy consumption somewhere around 15%. So that was rather significant. And yeah, so we got some images here that show that. This is a company called Runbrook down in Central Florida. They came up and did both infiltration and exfiltration. And yeah, we were able to meet that 0.15 CFM per square foot through this tilt wall construction type. And what we have currently going on is our Blueberry building. We've been able to get funds to do more blueberry research. In fact, the blueberries that you buy in the store are part of the genes are from native blueberries. And so, yeah, we're doing really well in this research area. Some additional opportunities for us are the test and balance reports. This is something that we do on all of our projects, and what's helpful is that now we have additional eyes in the sky looking at these reports, verifying that the mechanical system has been balanced in such a way to provide optimum air distribution throughout the entire space. You can see here that we have zero turf on this project, which is wonderful. This means that we don't have to be cutting the grass here. We do have a little bit of temporary irrigation, and that's just to establish the native plants that you see. And another benefit in the disaster mitigation section of FGBC is the fire resistant finishes. So you can see that both on our roof and on our exterior walls. And when it comes to cost savings, I just wanted to show, a project that's about this size, less than 10,000 square feet. When you register and review it through FGBC is somewhere around 2,500, whereas if you would go through LEED, there is, over $2,000 more in that certification, and review process. The asterisk there for LEED is that this doesn't include the LEED plaque, which normally we put on our projects. And what we've done, FGBC, once awarded our certification level, they've provided us with a picture frame with the certification in it. And here are some more images of this project. There's another tight building construction next to this tree here. You can see the freezers or the refrigerators in the back of the house, and the blueberry themed classrooms. And also we are now in the process of expanding the Florida Museum of Natural History with the Thompson Earth Systems Institute edition. This is a very unique project in that we are essentially going to have a new building entrance. And as you can see also in the back, or on the lower left-hand corner on the back of the building, there's an addition there as well. So essentially this project is split up into two areas of an existing building. This would be a huge issue when it came to working with LEED, because they would see that as like gerrymandering the LEED project boundary. So again, FGBC was a great fit for this project. We are using biophilic design for that exterior front entrance, and we're inspired by reptiles and alligators and fish as kind of the facade itself. And again, we'll be having a lot of native landscaping and stormwater management, similar to what we did just adjacent to this project, the Special Collections project. And then moving forward, the university is in the beginning phases of developing the Center for Applied Artificial Intelligence. We are registering this project as a FGBC version 4. So this is the newest certification with FGBC. This is located off campus in Balm, Florida. So there are a lot of challenges associated with this, not being on main campus and kind of in the middle of, well, I guess to the west of the state. And so specifically in the site area with transportation and development density. But some of the features that we're excited to implement here, again, are incorporating more training. And that's talking with our design teams about our expectations for green building development, and then communicating those intentions to the construction team as well as the maintenance staff. And we are looking forward to having less turf. That's less maintenance for us, as well as making this building solar ready. This has been a standard here at the University of Florida. We don't normally add solar to our projects right away, and that's mainly because we want to optimize the space that we're developing. But while we have the engineers, while we have the designers, we work with them on making sure that the roof can handle the load of the solar panels, making sure that we have conduit running from the main distribution panel up to the roof, also having some type of hose bib or way to hook up to water so we can clean panels for multiple years. So all that's incorporated into solar ready design. We're looking forward to working again with the Florida Water Star standards, and having a panelized wall system for the project, and just making our building more durable and fire resistant. Yeah, so you can see that we're still in the process of selecting our designer, selecting our builder, So a lot still needs to be hashed out for this project, but yeah, we're going to move forward with FGBC version 4. And then also with our final thoughts here, green building certification helps the built environment evolve to meet our changing society needs. If it wasn't for green building certification, we'd still have paints and adhesives and sealants that all off-gas harmful chemicals in the air that's bad for our skin and our lungs. And so we really credit green building certification for that. And we need to continue to evolve as our needs change. And we also need to communicate our common goals on a continuing basis. Again, as mentioned before, like communicating our intent, our expectations up front with the design team and how that design will translate into construction and then into operations. We need to be able to be open to the feedback from operations staff on how to develop in a way that is easier to maintain and provide the optimum indoor experience for all. FGBC overall is a great green building certification for the University of Florida. Big reason why, again, is that we're thinking globally and we're acting locally here with in-state subject matter experts. And we really appreciate having those connections and being able to bounce ideas back and forth with them and brainstorm ideas and solutions. And the last thing to keep in mind too is that once we obtain this certification, it's important to celebrate. Celebrate because it took a village for us to get that certification. And we look forward to moving forward with our certifications. In fact, we're on schedule with getting our 100th certification, our centennial certification, and of which we're excited to share with Gator Nation at large. And with that, I'm gonna just open it up for questions or comments.
Thank you, Dustin. I wanted to thank Dustin and the University of Florida on behalf of FGBC for all their efforts to really challenge the idea that an existing college campus can't be a more sustainable entity. So once again, congratulations for all your work. I did have one clarification really quick on the B unit, which was a phenomenal project. It was the first FGBC Platinum commercial building. We do have 4 other standards, and so we have had Platinum buildings within those other standards, but Dustin is correct. It was the first commercial Platinum project. So Dustin, do you want me to read the questions? Do you?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure. We did have one chat, and it said from Bill Lazar, and it said it would be interesting to compare the cottage decisions with affordable housing efforts. And then some questions here. Why raise the foundation on a mound rather than a perimeter foundation wall?
That's a great design question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why we would do that. I mean, part of it is the landscaping of the building. If we jacked it up, 2 feet, instead of kind of having that landscape go with it, we'd have steps that come up to the building that would make it more difficult for, accessibility purposes. But that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But that is a great design question.
And then we have a question from Denise Baz, and says, thank you for this great presentation. I know there are some new dorms being built. Can you discuss the dorms green building targets?
Yeah, sure. So I believe the dorms we're discussing are the new undergrad residents. It's 1,300 beds that we are adding with the addition of 4 essentially wings or 4 separate buildings, all put together into one area. This is going through LEED version 4, and it's what's called a group submission. And so all of these buildings have to meet lead requirements. Each one has so what I'm trying to say is in terms of energy efficiency, the building that's the least efficient is the points that we will be allocated for the project. It's currently under construction and it's a phased approach. I believe we have some students already in those spaces, and we're finishing up 2 of the 4 buildings this year, and I think it'll be ready by next year.
Great. And then we have another question that says, what effect does flooring and flooring design have on FGBC? I guess this one's for me. We are a point-based system, so depending on what specifically you're asking with regards to flooring, I know that we do give points for some of the components of the flooring and the height of the flooring if it's above a flood zone. But all of that is available via our website, floridagreenbuilding.org. All of our checklists, all of our reference guides are open to the public. You can download them from our website, and they're free. So you can go on to the website, you can take a look at our standards and look up the specific question you're asking about the flooring.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and add that it sounds like, the floor score, with any flooring material, there's a green floor is one that has the certification, what's called floor score. And so that's a carpet that can be recycled. It's a durable material for the, if I can just, let's see here, if I can scroll back, you can actually see with our first project, we did concrete. We did concrete in there. So a very durable material. It's beautiful as well. And so that's how we're able to obtain that credit for that project.
And another question, says great presentation. Will you make blower door tests standard on UF projects going forward?
I think it depends on the type of project. Something to keep in mind is that the University of Florida has some of the most diverse buildings that you can find anywhere in the United States. And so in some regards, it makes sense, for the projects that we showed today. Yeah, absolutely. We're in the process of just finishing up our newest iconic building, which is like 440,000 square feet. And so doing a blower door test on such a large volume is rather difficult, partly because we don't have enough doors to stick the blower door in and get accurate readings. Great question.
I'd like to hear more about how biophilic or biometric design elements are being incorporated into the new Florida Museum of Natural History.
Yeah, so we're still in the beginning phases of that. Where are we? We're talking about this. So again, in our bi-monthly meetings, we actually have this image right here as kind of our inspiration piece. We are looking to incorporate some type of exterior facade that has this pattern, but also like the piece about all of these images is that this is the exterior of the reptiles and fish and whatnot. And so it's a strong material. It is, durable. It is something that evolves. And we're still not sure. We haven't finalized what this is going to look like, but it's definitely not going to be what folks are used to here on campus with the brick pattern that they see here. So we're still in the early phases of figuring out what that exactly looks like. But in every meeting, we use this as our inspiration piece, and where the clients and where the designers come together and continue to brainstorm ideas for what this could look like for us moving forward.
Do we have any other questions for Dustin? I think that's it. Once again, I want to thank Dustin for today's presentation. I thought it was great. All of the contents today, including the PowerPoint and the recording, will be on our YouTube channel, as well as on our website. And it'll also be sent to everyone who registered in a follow-up email. So with that, once again, thank you, Dustin, and thanks everyone for attending today.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.